Here, I'm setting it up. Okay,
All right.
we're recording.
Yep. So how are you doing today? How's your day been?
It's good. It's good. I'm sure, like everybody else, I'm glad tomorrow's Friday.
Yeah. I can't wait. It's gonna be great because basically nothing to do, just a couple tests, knock them out real quick. It's easy.
Yes, simple.
So, main question I really wanted to ask you was how do you feel on the teacher's point of view in virtual learning? Like, how has this impacted you?
Um, Goodness, how do I feel? It feels crazy. That's probably it feels crazy. It's a struggle because teachers are used to interacting with kids on a individual basis, even when we're in a group, even when we're in a big class. It's easier to have a personal connection with your students. Whereas the digital format makes it hard to get a read on your students, to understand what they like, don't like, or what they're struggling with. I mean, the
Yeah.
only information we have to go on is what they freely will offer to us, and a lot of kids are hesitant to
Yeah.
to say I have a problem or I have a question.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get them to open up when they don't feel like they know us either,
Yeah.
and it's hard.
Yeah, because like a lot of kids now, they just join the meeting and then turn off their camera and mic and don't do anything.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
true. Yeah,
half my meetings when I watch them, I feel like I'm just watching a video. It's sad.
well, yeah, and so imagine being on the other end of that where we're like, is anybody out there? Am I talking to myself? I feel like I'm in an asylum and something's wrong and this is all my imagination. No one's really there. So we make that joke a lot where we're like, anybody there? So yeah, it's a struggle.
What would you say is the biggest difference between all of this? Like what's the biggest change?
Um, oh God, I mean that honestly might be the biggest change because it's the biggest factor in helping us to help our students be successful. That lack of connection. The schedule is somehow more hectic than it is when the kids are here and our classes are longer. So it's kind of, every 30 minutes and you're staring at the clock, uh, and they're 30-minute classes, but by the time everybody logs in and some people are a couple minutes late and you take attendance and then you explain what you're going to do, the actual part of the lesson is like microscopic.
Yeah. And the sad thing is, since it's all virtual and we can't ask our help for help and raise our hands and like interact with other people, it's like once we get that microscopic amount of information, it's really hard to pick it apart. And like,
It is.
and I'm sure with all the late work being turned in and people turning it in like barely on time, I'm sure like that's really hectic.
Barely on time is a nice way of putting it. We'll get things weeks later. Weeks. Report cards were crazy because I got so many packets back. Weeks of packets.
Yeah.
And it was like,
Like,
and then the thing for teachers is the reason we set due dates. Number one is so our students don't get overwhelmed with a giant workload. We give it to you a little bit at a time and expect it to come back a little bit at a time,
yeah.
so nobody is overwhelmed, ourselves or
Yeah.
our students. But
But then when we do the packets, like we can't really schedule it because we're not at school, and I
yeah,
can guarantee you, Mr. Procrastination's gonna knock up at some kid's door and
not
say,
on my work.
"Hey, let's wait 2 weeks until you got to turn this in."
Yeah,
Like
so
15 assignments isn't that bad.
so it gets to be a struggle.
Yeah. So, well, what do you have any? Is there anything that's gotten better with virtual learning? Because, like, I know I can't lose any work, but like, is there any benefits from doing everything virtual for you guys?
I would say there would be benefits if all of our students had technology. If everybody was using a computer, if the format was 100% digital, and I could track all of my students' work the way I can my online students, that would be better, because then I could utilize some of the tools we have, like iReady, which has that diagnostics test, and then I can see, growth and where we're struggling at. Like that gives me like real time information about where students are. But paper packet kids, and again, this is like if I get the work back late, if I get it 3-4 weeks late, and I look at it and I can see that this student, whoever they are, struggled with this one concept. Well, it's really too late for me to go back and try to review with that student.
Yeah.
So it's more like, I know that they struggled with this, but
Yeah.
I never see them. I never get to actually speak to them. And this packet is so late that I can't send them another packet. Like, I can't plan my own weeks in a way that is beneficial to them because I don't know how they're doing.
Yeah, because like that's one of the biggest divides of right now is that not everyone can do the same thing. Because where we're at, like not everybody in Gates County has internet, and
Yeah.
with the lack of accessibility and funds we have to give everyone hotspots and computers, it's just like what you said. If someone has a packet and they're struggling, what can they really do? It's
Yeah.
like
All we can do is offer the online, the virtual, the meetings like these. But if they don't have internet, that's not a functional option for them. So
yeah, I remember. I was talking to my friend the other day, and we were talking, and I was like, "Hey, how are you doing with this virtual, uh, social distancing? You know what I mean? This remote learning and stuff."
yeah, I got
And he was telling me like when he had problems, he couldn't ask for the help, and when he tried to ask his parents, they were like he didn't like hold on, sorry, I can't talk, but his parents worked almost all the time, like even during this pandemic, and he was talking about how he didn't really have any help, and while he was doing decently in his classes, he was talking to me about how he was struggling and just he was just really I don't know. I
well,
can't talk.
it's all right. Well, the thing is everybody. This is so abnormal. Um, the way that we have learned to learn is in person with interactions with other people. Um, it's very difficult for a vast majority of people to be given a paper packet of any sort and say, teach yourself this, and then be successful the first time. And that's why school is set up with someone who is supposed to know the material and be able to work through it and help explain it. But from the teacher's perspective, kids are so reticent to ask questions or to express when they are struggling that
Yeah,
we are often just in the dark and we don't
yeah,
know. Like, we know that something, the odds are, logic tells us that the odds are that there is something that they are going to need. But if they don't tell us, we're just like, I've provided this lesson and I think that this will explain it. But if you don't understand it, I'll try explaining it another way. But if you don't tell me you don't understand it, I don't know where to go.
yeah. Yeah, because a lot of kids in the classroom don't even ask questions, because the whole thing about these years of your life is you think everyone's judging you, and it sucks.
Yeah,
Like, not everybody thinks it, but the people who do, it sucks, and
there's a strong
so
social stigma attached to questions, which everyone feels, but I don't know. I don't see it get expressed. I never see anybody. I mean, at least I don't see it in my classes. I didn't see it last year, and I don't allow it. I don't allow there to be snickering or anybody trying
yeah,
to be rude about questions, because we all have questions. I have questions.
yeah.
Questions.
Like, no one knows everything.
No one knows everything. Like, I might be good at this one thing, and that's why, like, I'm good at stories. I'm good at literature. I'm good at English. That's why I made it my career, and that's why I enjoy it so much, because I like it. Now, there are some things I'm not good at, and I'm never going to tell you how to do some of these things. Doesn't mean I, begrudge anybody else who has that knowledge. I'm happy for them, but I don't
No.
know how to do it.
Like, that's what we're here for. Everybody specializes in something else, and we gotta use each other to help each other.
Yes.
But a
Team.
lot of people feel like if they try to reach out for other people to help them,
Hmm.
they think it makes them look like they're not smart or they don't know stuff. And
Yeah.
they don't know some stuff. And everybody doesn't know some stuff. It's life. But
Yeah.
some people
Well, there's
some people just think too much about what other people think of them.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and realistically, if you think about it logically, there's so much out there to know. it would be nearly impossible to know it all.
Yeah. You just gotta accept the fact that you don't know everything and you never will.
No, but just do
There's
your
always gonna be
best
mystery.
to learn what you need to learn right now to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
And
Focus on the present, hope for the future, and learn from the past. Famous quote from someone who I do not know because I forgot.
well, hey, I think you remember the important part, which is the
Yeah. Yeah.
so
I'm terrible with names. But nonetheless.
nonetheless. I love that.
So, what else is there? So, hmm. How do you think that the students are doing during this time?
Uh,
Like, from your standpoint, how do you feel they're doing?
I feel they're struggling. I feel the
Yeah,
vast majority. I think there are a few, yourself included, who are doing really well. Is at least with participating, with showing up, with
yeah,
with trying. And that's what I guess that's what I'm saying. I feel like there are some kids who are so uncomfortable with the concept of remote learning that they're avoiding trying. They're
yeah,
avoiding it because it makes them uncomfortable, which makes them afraid that they're going to fail. So rather than fail, they will avoid trying.
yeah,
I think that is the biggest thing is that their avoidance of it.
yeah,
They don't like it, so they're avoiding it, but it's
yeah.
making it worse. The avoidance makes it worse.
I've heard a lot of people saying like they've lost motivation to do this stuff
Yes.
because we're not in school. There's no like why would we want to do this school stuff if we're not in school? They just don't think they have a reason to do it.
Well, yeah. Well, a huge part also of like human interaction is that we feel when you connect with someone, you don't want to disappoint them, or
Yeah,
when you create that relationship. So part of it is, hey, like I know that Miss Manglona or Miss Biz is expecting this of me, and they're going to ask me about it, and they're going to call me on it when I show up, and I need to have this done. So like part of that motivation is that we hold them accountable. Remote school makes it so that the only accountability we have are grades. We can't have conversations. We can't, it's just
yeah.
do your work. Please do your work. Oh my gosh, do your work. Did you turn this in?
Yeah.
It's missing.
There's like, what can you really do? That's all you can do is like you can just type it in and send a comment, but like a
That's
lot of people don't really care about just the simple words typed out on their screen. A lot of people see no meaning in them.
yeah.
Like the only way to really connect with someone is to talk to them. Like I'm lucky I can do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I'll say that that just doing this, I think you need to give yourself a little bit more credit than that. Just doing this shows like initiative, and I think a lot of people are lacking that initiative to try to make the best out of a bad situation. Like this is not what any of us want. This is not what we would choose given the choice. This is what we have, and doing our best with it is the should be the bottom of what we do. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
show up number one and do my best, and like whatever happens after that is what happens. But
Yeah. Yeah. So like I've been doing my work on here. I've been doing my stuff, casual remote learning.
casual.
Casual remote learning, and I'm going through my work and I'm just thinking, okay, so I have this stuff and it's due tomorrow. Cuz like my whole goal this week has been trying to get all my work done the day it's due. Cause I don't want late work. No one wants late work. Cause in last 9 weeks I had a lot of late work to catch up on, and I didn't want that this 9 weeks.
Well,
So I've been doing the work. I've been trying to do the work the day it's due, and one of my biggest pet peeves that I've had this year is having the option in online learning to put assignments due a certain day in the week instead of turning it all in. Like, no offense to anyone who does this, I just don't like it when people make all their work due on one day.
yeah, I well, from a teacher's perspective on that, I think that some teachers are saying all the work is due on one day and giving it to you a week ahead because they're trying to say you plan your schedule. I don't know your schedule. You're not in my classroom. Maybe your mom works in the afternoon and you have to go here and like